Okay, so I still would like to see you trying the Pluralsight videos that I posted early on the question of the professor area, but I wanted to give you an introduction just in case you're having a little bit of confusion on where to get started. Um, for the final project, I would like to see an interior so that you can populate it. Okay, I see that you started an exterior of a building, but then the interior is the one that's going to allow you to populate it. Okay. First of all, Maya has several menus over here that can make the options over here change. So make sure you're first on the modeling section, okay? And over there, let's go to poly modeling. And let's start by defining a floor plane, okay? And you can use as a reference the actual grid. So you can get that plane over there, okay? And mine is set up to just create the plane there, but I wanted to cover the whole grid. Okay, that's your plane, but you want to cover the whole grid. So let's scale it up. Let's make it fit the whole grid. Here's a scale tool, the one that looks like a little square. So click on that. And in the middle, in the yellow node, just click and drag it. Okay, if you drag one of the other nodes, what you're going to be doing is this, scaling in one axis, which is okay. If it happens, just grab the other axis and just scale it as you see fit. Okay, and I'm using the perspective viewport here to kind of guess, but sometimes you might need to be aware of specific sizes in a production, but for now that's okay. Okay, the second thing you want to do is create walls. Okay, for walls, you can have two options. You can have either a box that you can use and create, okay? And let me show you how this works. You can move it up and make it sit there, okay? And maybe scale it. Okay, let's scale it up so that it's a little bit taller. You see that if I scale up, immediately the bottom kind of goes through, so you can continue, you know, just putting it up like that, or you can select to only scale from the bottom. That way you scale up. To do that, you can just press the insert key on your keyboard, and you see that it will change to something like this. So you're gonna just grab the up node and put it there somewhere close to the floor, okay? Somewhere there. And then press the insert key again, and now if you notice, your rotation point, your pivot, is right there on the bottom. That's what you just did, change the pivot point. Okay, you may want to do that while I'm gonna press the space bar to see the others. You may want to do that by looking at maybe the side viewports, so that you can put it exactly on the bottom, but I guess I estimated close enough, you know. That will be okay. So let's go back to the perspective viewport over here, and this is the name of it. And I'm gonna just press the space bar, and I'm gonna press this again, the scale tool, and I'm gonna just once again scale, and you see that now it's going up a little bit faster rather than before that was kind of going in both directions. So let's cancel that. And so I'm just gonna make it tall enough so that it can be, you know, covering the you know, the sides. So then for this, I can just pretty much grab this axis on the sides, you see, kind of scale it to fit, and I'm using my view there, fit as you want the wall. You can make the wall thicker or thinner by scaling in this direction, okay? And with the move tool over here, I'm just going to move it back with this, just push it back with that manipulator, okay? So that is your wall. It's kind of a simplistic shape of a wall. The other thing, let me see if it's already set up. Yes. That you can do is another plane, okay? So you can create a plane and pretty much do the same thing I just did, okay? Just click here for creating a plane and scale it. So I'm scaling it until it kind of fits there, you know, the edge of the floor plane, and then kind of scale it on the other direction so that it's a little bit you know, taller. And then I'm gonna rotate it so that it's standing up rather than staying there. So I'm just gonna grab this red axis over here. You can rotate in any direction. If you can see, you can just play a little bit with the axis. I'm gonna press Ctrl Z. And what I'm going to do on this red axis, which is, if you notice, it changes over here, rotate X. Okay, so I'm going to hit Ctrl C, and on the rotate axis, I'm going to press 90 so that it makes it perfectly aligned to the, you know, perpendicular, like 90 degrees. Okay, and then we have to just move it. So go back to the move tool, and I'm going to put it over here on the back. Seems very convenient that way. Okay, so that's two different ways that you can use to create a wall. So now you have your floor, your walls. One important thing that I want you to start doing from now is naming items. Okay, so let's click on the floor and make sure that over here on the, we could do it on the attribute editor or the channel box, whichever it is. I have the outliner open. Okay. Yes. So you could click here and call it floor. Press enter. Okay. That will help you identify it later as you can see other geometry on your scene. Notice that they start calling themselves plane, polyplane 2. Here you click on it, you see polycube 1. So as we hit on the floor, oh, floor, that's my floor geometry. Okay, so you can call this maybe left wall. Left wall. Press enter, and on the back, back wall. You know, there's no specific naming convention other than you knowing what it is later, okay? Because there is this other place in Maya where we can look at different objects on your scene, and then you can see what it is by the name you give to it. Otherwise, you will see 100 planes and you don't know what it is, okay? In the same manner, you can create a floor plane. Okay, so you could, and this is where things start getting more interesting, right? Duplicate the wall and kind of rotate it down. So you can go edit, duplicate. Okay, and so far you don't see anything, but the name kind of changed over here to back wall 1. So if I move it with the move tool, I can see that it's now a different plane. So it made a duplicate of it. So I'm gonna call that ceiling or roof, however you want to call it. Remember, the name is it's just important for you to know what it is later. So then I'm gonna rotate it, right? And let me see first which is the axis that rotates. If you notice, as I click and drag that, rotate X is what rotates. Okay, so I'm gonna hold Control Z. Rotate X, and let's do maybe 180 or maybe 90. Let's see what happens if we do negative 90. Sorry, negative 90. Okay, we rotated it the wrong way, so let's do 180. And this is trial and error. You see that if I'm going to use specific numbers here, I can just, you know, figure it out by moving attributes. So I have it flat looking down. Okay, how do I know it's looking down? Because this is the part that is colored. See, the color node but gray. So I'm going to go up and put that as my roof, and I'm gonna scale it. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that it fits the whole roof, and there will be some tweaking needed here. I already see that it needs to be scaled probably a little bit bigger. And I'm just gonna let it intersect. It's okay if it intersects a little bit, if it's not gonna be seen by the camera. If it's gonna be seen by the camera, yes, you want it to be nice. So there's our roof. There's our back and front walls, and yeah, it's just the angle. And I'm using the middle mouse button to kind of zoom in and out, and alternate and left mouse to kind of pan around. Make sure you don't have gaps. I see a gap there. I know because I see that line there, so I'm just going to move it and make sure that it's intersecting. There you go. I don't see the lines anymore, so that means it's intersecting. You can always go, I'm going to space bar, you know, the other views, and then try to use the other viewports for reference. Okay, and that is an introduction to that, to, you know, creating the roof. If you want to put something here like a little siding on it, you can duplicate this wall. This is done in the other video. So edit, duplicate that wall, move it forward, okay, with the move tool, and then I'm gonna go scale it down and check it out. It looks like the trimming at the bottom of place, you see? And then you duplicate that and rotate it and put it on this side, and then you have the other side done, so you don't have to model it again. So let's say that you push it all the way here, so that it's kind of like a little ledge. You see, it looks nice. So let's duplicate that. Duplicate, and now you have two of them. So then let's rotate it to put it here on this side. Okay, and let's rotate, and it's rotate Y. So I'm gonna Control C and rotate Y over here. I'm gonna put it 90 degrees. You see now it's perpendicular to it, and with the move tool I'm just gonna push it back against that wall. Okay, that's there, and we just move it. If we need to scale more, you can scale more. If you wanna be even fancier, you know, there's a small detail where they meet over here. You can do that as well. So there's your, you know, trimming. You could very well do the same at the top if you wanted to give a little bit more of detail. Some houses have, you know, a little bit of fancier roofs. I'm not sure what the name is because I'm not in construction, but you know, you could always get it up and put it up higher on the ceiling. Okay, and as far as geometry, you have your cube that you could, you know, later turn into a wall, or I mean into a sofa or anything like that. But you could make a simple window by you know, scaling it. So these are the tools that we have been using. Make it flat, right, so that the window is kind of outside. I'm going to scale it out to make it bigger. And this is where some of the tools that you can use come into place. Let's right click, go to face mode, and I'm going to click on that one side there. And this is just an idea to explore. Use a simple frame. You know, you can use that extrude option. And what you can do is click on the rotate over here, and any of the rotate cubes there. That's the rotate tool. You see that a cube forms in the middle, and then you can do this. You see that gives you a nice little trimming of, I have auto saved enabled, and then press enter, right, and that you extruded already. Sorry about that. Let me go back to it. It was still the same one selected. I'm going to go back and extrude once more, but this time I'm going to use the move tool. And this is what we can do. Oh, what did I do there with the floor? I needed to have just this one selected. Oh, I see what's going on. I have, I apologize. I have soft selection on. So if you click on the tools, go soft selection and soft selection off. If that happens to you, that starts moving other stuff out of nowhere. So let's go back to it, okay? And with our polygon still selected, let's go back to the scale tool. Okay, now it works better. So you have this part here. So what you could do is just push it in. and that looks like a simple window frame. You could turn that also into a door if you were to put it, you know, from the inside. You could use that as a frame and delete the inside face and let's move it. See, okay, back to right click, back to object mode. This is where things get a little bit confusing too. Back to object mode, and there's a simple window there for you that you have the frame and you have the inside part. Once you hit booleans, you can actually do things like subtracting one from the other. All right, so oh, I apologize for the song, for the noise.